This is Terry Coutu with Chamber Chat, and I am here with Crystal Morrison, and she is our chamber president this year, and we're our first chamber board interview. So I don't know, all the first ones are very, very courageous and brave to sit with me on this. So welcome, Crystal.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We're glad you're here. I'm going to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
And let's start with, how long have you lived in the Hickory Nut Gorge?
We moved in December of 2017. We moved here. My father had moved back to Matthews, North Carolina, and we wanted to be close, but we didn't want to be in Charlotte. And so we knew we wanted to be in the mountains, and we started looking for communities. And the minute we came down 9 from Ingalls and just that view of the lake and the community in the town, we knew that was where we wanted to live.
Excellent. What's your favorite part of being here, of living here in Hickory Nut Gorge?
I think the community. It's one of the most welcoming communities I've ever lived in. We moved here and immediately were brought into a lot of the organizations. People would say, well, you need to come to this event, or you need to come to this the Newcomers is doing, or you need to make sure that you join Rumbling Bald Friendship and Fun Group. You need to, with Buddy's business, get involved with the chamber, with Buddy Morrison Photography, so that he was meeting people in the community, going to chamber recharges in the evenings, and also just our involvement with local businesses, meeting people. We have so many great friends that we never knew beforehand, and from living in larger communities, or even other transient communities like at the coast or so. Lake Lore's just different. And the whole gorge, whether you're in Girton, whether you're in, following on down through Bat Cave to Chimney Rock and then into Lake Lore, it's a really tight-knit community. And that to me is one of the things that really makes it special.
I'm bringing myself back in because it makes more sense. So I know you and Buddy travel a lot, back and forth from the coast into our beautiful mountains here. So what do you most like to do when you're not working?
We like to travel. I enjoy cooking. I enjoy reading, being with friends, going to dinner, meeting up with people, and we're involved in our church, the Church Transfiguration at Bat Cave, the tiny one there. And we like going out with friends on boats and enjoying the lake, just the beauty around us. I mean, we have such a great area. We're Biltmore annual pass holders. We go up there quite frequently. We're a short ride from pretty much everywhere in the mountains if you want to take a day and ride up the parkway. If you want to stay at home and go hiking in Chimney Rock State Park, we're annual pass holders there too. There's all of the conservation trails that are around. There's just so much that even on weekends, if we're at home, and we both still work full time, which is unique in our community, but on weekends, even if we're not traveling or doing anything, there's just so much to do in the area that you can easily stay busy. And even now with festivals closing and different things, there's so many hiking trails, there's so many opportunities to go visit parks. There's still things to do. And I think that it's just such a special area for that. You're never bored. If you're bored in Lake Lore, then it's because you're not willing to venture out and do something different.
Yeah, if you're bored in Lake Lore, you're doing the wrong thing.
Exactly.
So you mentioned that you like reading. Do you have a favorite quote?
A favorite quote? One of the things that I've read a lot frequently, especially right now with everything that's been going on, I think in COVID and with where we are in the world with upheaval, with figuring out how we have to come to terms and live and respect everyone, and live in a time where we love all of our neighbors. This is from To Bless the Space Between Us by John O'Donohue. And you may have seen it. It's called For the Interim Time. It's been floating around on the internet, but I think it speaks to where we are and what we need to do to go forward. When near the end of day, life is drained, out of light, and it is too soon for the mind of night to have darkened things. No place looks like itself. Loss of outline makes everything look strangely in between, unsure of what has been and what might come. In the wane of light, even the trees seem groundless. In a while to be night, but nothing, for it seems too believed to risk of dark. You are in this time of interim, where everything seems withheld. The path you took to get here has washed out, and the way forward is still concealed from you. The old is not old enough to have died away, and the new is still too young to be born. You cannot lay claim to anything. In this place of dark, your eyes are blurred and there is no mirror. Everyone else has lost sight of your heart, and you can see nowhere to put your trust. You know you have to make your own way through. As far as you can, hold your confidence. Do not allow your confusion to squander this call, which is loosening your roots in false ground that you might come free from all that you have outgrown. What is it to be transfigured here in your mind? And it is difficult to slow to become new. The more faithfully you can endure here, the more refined your heart will become and your arrival into a new dawn.
Yeah, that is very appropriate right now, more so than ever.
Yes.
Awesome.
We have to find that new dawn.
Yep.
And I think the strange thing is with every step we take forward, I think in some ways the cloudier it is. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think you're right. And the thing I just keep reminding myself of is that I've made it through all these other days so far.
Yes.
And I'll make it through this one and I'll get through the next one. And at some point we'll be looking back going, wow, do you remember how crazy that was?
Yes.
And so, yeah. Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. The nice thing about your bad days is you've made it through 100% of them.
That's right. That's a great quote. So, Crystal, tell us a little bit about you. Who is the most influential person in your life?
Most influential person in my life would probably be my father. He was the one who was always encouraging, even when I was little and would say stuff like, I want to become president of the United States, he would say, then you can do that if you want to do that. When I was a kid, I would go to work with him. He worked at Belk department stores for 42 years and then retired and had his own shoe store for a while that I was fortunate enough to help work in. Dad was always important in helping to understand how to treat people, from seeing him and his interactions with the people he worked with at Belk's all those years. Certainly with the work ethic, how to make sure that you're doing what you need to be doing to be successful and for your business to be successful. He was instrumental in teaching me that always strive and do your best. No matter what the situation is, give it your all, give it your best. And even if things don't turn out the way that you wanted them to, you still have that personal satisfaction of knowing that you did your best and that you did all that you can do.
That's awesome.
That's why I think he's the influential one, certainly from a business perspective and also personally.
That's great. So it sounds like he was obviously very influential. So when you think back on your childhood, what's one of your best childhood memories?
Best childhood memories. He traveled to New York a lot at that time for department stores. When they would do buying, they went to New York about 4 times a year, and that's where they bought the merchandise that went into the store. And every time he would go when I was little, you could still go to the airport, and Mom and I would take him and we would go and watch the planes take off and watch him board the plane and watch it take off. And I would always say, I want to go to New York. And I want to just let me crawl into your suitcase that I want to go to New York. And so when I was 10, and promised me that when I was 10 years old, we could go to New York. And so we went at Christmas time and got to see all of the lights, Rockefeller Center with the angels and ice skating and just the show at Radio City. And so definitely that trip to New York after all those years of wanting to go. And it's a fabulous city and I love it. And when I was in college, I would have loved to live there. It just wasn't what was in the cards, but certainly it's a special place to visit.
It is a cool place. I can't take a lot of it because I'm just not a big city person anymore, but I'd love to go. I love to see a show. I love to eat.
There are some fabulous restaurants.
Oh yeah. Donna and I went last time and we had it planned from breakfast all the way through. It was just one eating tour. And we saw a show somewhere in the middle.
A wonderful place to do that. Absolutely. Just bring money. Because
That's it. That's it.
Not cheap.
So right now you work at a bank and you, tell me a little bit about your career and maybe even more so what you're most proud of, what accomplishment you're most proud of.
I kind of changed jobs in 2000. I was getting married. I needed to have something than where I had been working. And I ended up getting a job with a regional bank at the time, Centura Bank. And I was working as a call center manager, just kind of as a regular team lead. That was in December of 2000. And so this year will be 20 years with the company, which totally was not the roadmap, was not the plan. I've been incredibly fortunate through my career that I've continued to have opportunities that challenge me. So at the point where I would start to get bored or start to get to a place where I would want to do something different, I was fortunate enough to be presented with something else that challenged me. So right now I manage project managers. I have 11 project managers who report to me. They are spread out from Pittsburgh to Philly to Cleveland, Ohio. And then I'm in North Carolina. I'm incredibly fortunate I can work from home, which means I can work from Lake Lure or wherever I want to be. And I've just been very fortunate with that. Every time, you know, I've, like I said, started to look or do something different, another opportunity takes its place. In March of 2012, PNC purchased the divestiture of what was RBC Centura Bank. And I didn't know what was going to happen. Part of me was very excited if I got a package and was let go as to what I was going to do. Part of me was, you know, after that many years with an organization, the seniority that you have, the benefits that you have, there are things that are also beneficial to hold on to. So I really didn't know what was going to happen. Buddy and I were dating. He was in Charleston. Part of me was like, other than having parental responsibilities, my mom was pretty sick at the time, as to how all of that was going to work out, that it was like, you know, do something new and different. And I stayed with the bank and have had other different new and exciting opportunities. So it's been a good run. Proudest, I would say, during the merger, the way that was handled, you were basically told, yes, you still have a job and here's what you're going to be doing. So no one was given the opportunity to, you know, post for position, pick what you wanted to do. It was, here's what you're going to be doing. So I had a group of people, about 36 people, that were now in situations that they may or may not have wanted to be in. Their skill set may or may not have been suited for. I had 2 people who were going to be managing that had never managed people before. And we really took that group and turned them into a cohesive team, got them to where they were trained, were functional, were ready to go. And so that challenge of not only building something new, but doing it with people who weren't specifically volunteering to do all of this and go on this adventure, that was a challenge. And I think that the team that became, the work that they did, was really an outstanding effort. And I'm proud to have been part of that.
Oh, that's excellent. Congratulations. That's cool. It is very fulfilling when you can bring people together, and it's always a challenge, but for them to not have chosen to come together and then for you to be able to make them cohesive, that's fantastic. That says a lot.
It took a lot of work on their behalf, certainly on my behalf, but I think, that's the nice thing. If you are working with people and you respect them, you expect that they're going to come in every day and do the best job that they can. And most people do that. We don't go to work, or we don't go into a situation, thinking I'm not going to do it today. It's just we all have bad days. But, if you respect people, and if you do everything that you can, if you're a manager or a leader, to pull those roadblocks out, to make sure that they have the path that they need, that they have the tools that they need, they can move forward and do the best job that they can, and that you're running interference, then you'll be successful. And they'll be successful. And that's really the way, as a team and an organization, that you are successful.
Yep, I agree completely. I love it when it's a win-win. And if it's a win-win-win, I love it even more. So
Absolutely.
That is awesome. So my last question for you, almost out of the hot seat here, is if you could make one wish for anything and you knew it could come true, what would you wish for?
Well, right now, either a vaccine or a cure for COVID-19. I think that the effect that it's had on our community businesses it's certainly been challenging. And as I've seen, businesses struggle not knowing what they're allowed to do, when they're going to be allowed to open, how many people they're going to have. In Lake Lure, weddings, destination weddings, is a big part of our community. It's a big part of our economy. We still don't have good answers on when those businesses can start doing what they're doing again, knowing that people have to pay their employees, or that their employees are forced to have unemployment. There's just been so many things that have happened in the past few months that have been detrimental to our community. And I think that having that light at the end of the tunnel, to know this is the date, this is when we're going to be able to move forward right now, would be the best thing that I could wish for all of us, to be able to know that we're okay.
Yeah. We've lost some very good businesses, and we're not through it yet. So that's a great wish. I'm going to wish that with you.
I was going to say that's probably going to be the answer for most everybody right now.
I think so. All right, Crystal. Well, thank you so much for taking the time so that we could get to know you a little bit better. And we appreciate all the work that you're doing with the Chamber. And we're going to just hope your wish comes true.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Terry. Thanks for coordinating these sessions. They've been great. Thank you for taking the time to interview not only our chamber members, our board members, and it is a great way that, since we can't have recharges right now and can't be together, it is a nice way to have a conversation. So thank you.
Well, my pleasure, and hopefully we'll get some more people from the community to get involved with us in our chamber chats.
Absolutely.
All right, you have a great day, and thanks again.
Thank you, you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.